In the evenings, after a hard day of school and practicing, I would improvise at the piano and lose myself over the lovely Danish folk songs. These melodies were as much a part of my love for music as was Mozart, Beethoven, or Brahms. When I was 7, or at the most 7:30, I received a scholarship to the Danish Conservatory of Music. Later, I studied under the great Beethoven player Frederick Lehmann in Berlin. Now, Berlin and Copenhagen have one thing in common. They are both pretty far apart. So once a month, I would board a train and travel to the German capital. Once when I arrived at my teacher's home, he said, "Was hast du diesmal gelernt?" "I beg your pardon," I replied, because I didn't understand German. The professor pointed sternly at the piano. "Oh, I get it," I said. "What have I learned this month?" Well, I seated myself at the piano and began. Once upon a time, it was summer. A mama duck sat on her nest, hatching her ducklings. "This is no fun," she grumbled. "I would rather be out swimming and gossiping. Could be a good juicy scandal in the meadow, and I wouldn't even know about it. Boy, these kids take a long time." At last, one eggshell after another began to crack open. The ducklings scurried out, blinked, yawned, stretched, and scratched a little bit. "Ha, ha, 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 are we glad to be out of there," they said. Only it sounded like chip, 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 chip to the untrained ear, of course. The last egg was a real slow poke. "Hurry up, dummy," quacked the mama duck. "It's swim time." At last the big egg cracked, and a very ugly duckling staggered out. "I never forget a face," said the mama. "But in your case, I would sure like to try. Let's hit the water." Splash, splash. One duckling after another jumped into the pond and swam after the mama duck. Even the big, clumsy gray one. "Shoo, is that kid ugly?" quacked the other ducks in the pond. One of them bit the poor gray duckling in the neck. "Leave him alone," said the mama. "He's not bothering you." "Madam, the sight of him bothers me," said the mean duck. "He's too big and hard. What he needs is a good smack." "Nonsense," said the mama. "He's a very good boy, and he swims the best of all." "So what if he is big and ugly? Abraham Lincoln was no prize, and he did all right." Oh, the poor ugly duckling. His first day was miserable. Even his brothers and sisters were mean to him. So he ran away. The ugly duckling cried that night. He sat in the marsh and thought how sad life was. "I had a better deal inside the egg," he cried. "At least Mama kept me warm." Bang, bang! It was dawn, and hunters in bright red coats were shooting guns in all directions. Bang, 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 bang! "This life is for the birds," shivered the scared ugly duckling. "I better find some shelter." And so he did, in a little old house with a chicken, a cat, and an old woman. "Can you lay eggs?" clucked the chicken. "No," quacked the ugly duckling. "Well then, keep your mouth shut." "Can you arch your back, purr, and give out sparks?" meowed the cat. "I doubt it," quacked the duckling. "You are obviously very stupid." "But I swim pretty good," said the duckling hopefully. "Swim?" clucked the chicken. "Either lay eggs or purr, or knit doilies like the old woman, ducky. But don't waste your time in the water. It's bad for your complexion. Everybody knows that. It shrinks up your skin. The last time I went swimming was the day I was born, meowed the cat. And the toughest part was getting out of the bag. Don't fool around in the water, young man, or you will never grow a good coat of fur and a sharp set of claws. Ugly creature, cried the old woman as she helped the duckling out of the door with a broom. Once again, the ugly duckling was all alone. He swam in the water and was snubbed by every creature because of his ugliness. Autumn came, the leaves fell down and the winds grew cold. One evening, a flock of large white birds with long supple necks and powerful wings flew over the duckling. They flew south and quacked of warm legs and cookouts. The ugly duckling was most impressed. Gee, talk about a good deal, he sighed. I mean, if you gotta be a bird, that's the way to go. Winter came, and then, after many bleak months, spring, and the duckling saw the same handsome white birds returning. Hey, over here, he called. The big handsome birds changed course and landed right next to the ugly duckling. And one of the young girl birds even winked at him. The duckling blushed all the way down to his cold, wet feet and shyly looked at himself in the pond. Why, I look just like the rest of you, he cried. You are a swan, said the leader of the flock, and a very handsome one at that. Welcome to our flock, brother. A swan? Well, what do you know, laughed the ugly duckling. With white feathers and a long neck and big wings? A swan? Boy, am I handsome. The whole flock laughed happily with the ugly duckling. Wings were shaking all around. He was one of the flock now, and that's always nice.